I feel bad because I haven't really made any YouTube content for this week. I don't think I made a video. I don't know. This week has been crazy. But anyways, I thought I would do like a share and tell, I guess. Is that what it used to be called? Share and tell? Share and tell? Yeah, the thing in, I don't know, whatever. We're going to do a share and tell. I'm going to show you some kind of stuff from this week. We had that crazy sale for that little measuring tape that went for $125. I'll show you that right now. We got some goodies here. We're just going to go over it real quick. This little item right here sold for $125. A little tractor promotional item. It's a little tape measure that actually still works, which is actually pretty insane. Look out for these kind of little promos. Sometimes there's people that own these companies that they try to go back and they archive some of their pieces. I'm guessing why this is worth so much is there's a lot of tractor enthusiasts. So if you ever see any tractor stuff, take a second look on that stuff, because there's a huge collector market in tractor memorabilia. And like I said, this was like a promo item, probably came out in the 50s or the 60s. And the fact that it's in such amazing condition, I think too, helps out a lot, in the fact that this thing works. There was a previous one that I think that sold like 2 or 3 years ago for $140. That's why we started at $149. So it's just kind of another one of those things to look at for sure. Another item I kind of wanted to show you. This is kind of like a hidden bolo, so we're going to kind of give you a little bit of a hidden bolo today. This is Grandma Stovers Incorporated out of Columbus, Ohio. They make these kind of little fun, little, kind of, they're like gag gifts. And I think these were created in the 60s or the early 70s. This little number on the side, this 50-901, that's going to tell you a lot about these things if you ever find these. I doubt you're ever going to find these. But if you do come across these, there's some of these that are worth a couple $100. These things normally go in the range of anywhere between $15 and $50 a piece. Like I said, there are a couple of them that are really rare. And they made a bunch of different kinds of these. So just look out for these. Like I said, again, Grandma Stovers Incorporated. You can't miss these. This one happens to be a toolkit for the bride-to-be. Look, it's got like the rolling pin, of course, like the cookbook, and you know, the rolling pin, the old classic trope where the wife like beats the husband over the head with the thing. Garbage Pail Kids, we've talked about that before. Just a really quick heads up, the number in the top right corner there, if it's under number, I think it's 48 or under 44, that's the first series, and a lot of those mint condition cards actually go for a pretty good amount of money. This happens to be Series 2. This is the card that started everything for me in 1986. And this is a very classic card, but like I said, any number, I think it's 44, the first series goes up to. I'll have to double check. Anything under that is the very first series and is something that you should look out for. There's also a couple of really rare variations of these particular cards. In this particular one, this Repaired Rex, there's a little needle and it's pointing to up here. There is a misprint where there's like a green number 3 or something kind of up in this dark area. This isn't one of them, but there's a couple of variants of Garbage Pail Kids that I know of. If I ever am going through a collection, I always look for this card, because it's funny. All the variations, there's probably like 3 of them that I can remember. The variations, they actually point to the mistakes, which I thought was actually pretty ironic. So this particular needle guy, as you can see, he's pointing to up there, and you can't see it because it's not on there, but there's like a really faint green 3. It must have been like a printing error. As you can see, it's not there, but it's another thing to look at. Like I said, Garbage Pail Kids, there's a lot to actually go into, but like I said, look for any of them that are lower than number 44 out of the first series. These ones are pretty beat up. This whole pile is probably not even worth $10, but it's just something I wanted to share with you guys. We'll save this for the very last, because that's actually a pretty fun item. Funko Pops, we talked about Funko Pops before. You might not know the history of Funko. They actually started out doing bobbleheads. As you can see here, this is the old school Funko logo. This one actually I think is from, what is it, 2005? Yeah, 2005. There are some Funko bobbleheads that are worth hundreds of dollars. There's really not too many of them. I think there's like a Bone Daddy. There's like the skull. If you ever seen the weird kind of ones that are limited editions, those actually go for a lot of money. This one probably goes for anywhere between $12 and $15, this Betty Boop. And just kind of like just a heads up, you know, when you ever see the Funko bobbleheads, definitely look them up. They're easy to look up. You can even scan them on the bottom. Or for this one. They're called wacky wobblers, by the way. They're not called bobbleheads, even though it says bobblehead. They're kind of have their own little lingo, like Jello's Jello and Velcro's Velcro. Wacky wobbler is basically the name for this. Like, you know, Funko Pops are called Pops. These are called wacky wobblers. So if you ever see those, definitely check that out. We have a couple of cool die-cast cars that came out of Camarillo store. This is an old Matchbox Lesney car die-cast. They have these very unique wheels to them. They're kind of like these black metal wheels. And actually, I think this one is plastic. As you can see here, they look like this. They're basically like they're Matchbox. And, you know, some of these came out in the 60s and the 70s. And so just look out for those. And I don't know if you can see the bottom of this, if it's going to actually be clear enough. But they'll say on the bottom, England Lesney. This one actually has the number 5. This is a Route Master bus. They'll actually say all the information on the bottom, which is nice. Hot Wheels started to do that after a while. But for the most part, if you ever need to look these up, that's usually what they'll say on the bottom. You know, this particular thing probably will go for anywhere between $15 to $20 because of the condition. With any of these Lesney cars, these Matchbox cars, condition is everything. It's just like Hot Wheels, vintage Hot Wheels. So it's just something to look out for. If you ever see these, they have these very iconic black wheels, and you can totally tell those. Just like this particular car. This is the highlight of one of the finds yesterday. This is a root beer colored custom 1967 VW Bug. Hot Wheels red lines. If you ever see the name Hot Wheel red lines, as you can see, they're little red lines on the wheels there. That's what they look like. And this thing is in amazing condition, as you can see there. Let's see if we can actually zoom into that. Right there. Custom Volkswagen 1967 Hot Wheels. And this is not a reprint. This is actually a legitimate car. What's very nice is everything's basically together. These usually hubs, these chrome hubs that you see, they're painted on there. Those things are usually rubbed off. And just finding one of these red lines in this amazing condition. It's not perfect condition. You know, I'd probably rate this maybe like an 8. Is very rare to find. Especially, you know, sometimes the interiors make it worth more. This one happens to have a white interior. And it's just an amazing car. This thing, I think we're going to try. I'm going to list it at $199, so $200, and we're going to do an auction to see if there's any interest in this. We've seen similar ones sell for about that much, and they're in like worse condition. Hot Wheel red lines. I made a video, and I'll leave a link below or a link above for the Hot Wheels video that I did. Some of the colors are what make or break the money on these. The root beer is a very rare color. The pink one's a very rare color because, you know, most of these were geared toward boys. And so a lot of those colors never sold. And, you know, they just kind of didn't really make a lot of the weird colors. And so the colors that you think would be worth more, the popular colors, are the ones that aren't worth the most. The ones that are really weird colors are the ones that are worth a lot. And so if you're in California, definitely keep an eye out for these. There's some prototypes out there worth crazy money. I think a prototype bus sold for like $100,000 like a couple years ago. And so there's definitely ones out there. This is the best one I've ever seen in the wild. So the fact that this was with a bunch of other things was pretty amazing. And like I said, there's some pitting, of course, because it's old. I don't see any toning, which is basically like dark spots due to just paint over the years just kind of deteriorating. It does have a couple of like minor chips and everything. There we go. That's a little better. You can see like it's like funny because the like someone put the little stickers on there and they're still on there, over 40 years old or more. You know, it's kind of crazy. But like I said, that's why they're called red lines. You can see the red lines on the wheels. Now they did remake these, a lot of these before, or, you know, during the 90s. And so you can usually tell by just flipping it upside down and looking like that. And but this one is definitely a legitimate vintage red lines, and it's kind of actually really small compared to like another regular car because it's a VW Bug. This is like one of the smallest red lines that there is, and the fact that it's, you know, this good condition, like I said, we expect to get about $200 for this little loose car, so it's just something else to definitely look out for. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of was a little long and long-winded, but I thought you would like this. If you do like this kind of every Friday or something, we'll take 10 minutes out to kind of share some knowledge or information on some of these items that we're selling. These are going to be available for the American Cancer Society. I'll leave a link below. Definitely go and check that out. And once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, and we'll see you next time. Take care.